Hello. MotoGP 26 is one of those games that arrives early year like a regular event, as punctual as the first qualifying stages of the opening Grand Prix of the season. Milestone knows its audience, loyal, demanding, and remembers the previous edition very well. Recycling the grid with updated numbers isn't enough. You need to bring something tangible, something that justifies the expenses and make the leap real. Well, you know what's interesting? That this year the MotoGP 26 Milan studio did its homework, and the homework was very, very good. It did turn everything. I mean, almost, but didn't even reinvented the wheel, but it worked intelligently on what matters. Well, this is the physics, the career mode, and the everything which is connected to. And this result is the most solid and complete installment of the series in the 5 years. I'll explain why in the full video. The starting point is the from which everything ends and descends. It is the new riding model built around rider-based handling technology. It seems one of those technical formulas that press release used to tone of otherwise marginal changes. And no offense, this time different, truly, and very interesting as we know that seems like one of the technical formulas and press release used to set tone to otherwise the changes. And what else? Well, no, but this time difference truly felt the controller right from the first break. This concept is simply yet very and very powerful. So, to be honest, I think the practical results it's a ride of finally transmits coherent sensations. Corrections in trajectory are more natural, progressive. Braking is felt like interior of the bike, and this rider animation stopped being a purely aesthetics element to become an integral part of visual feedback. Those familiar with the series will notice the difference almost immediately. Those new to the series, however, will enjoy a smoother leveling curve thanks in the part continuing the availability of two riding styles, the arcade experience accessible and imitate the pro experience, where every single variable of its bike is a player responsibility. Two distinct philosophers, both handled with balance. Career mode has been the series the Achilles heel for the years. Functional, yes, but dirty. One of the menu and another of the technical choices onto the track. Lay them all that the shell around the traces. With the MotoGP 26, Milestone has built a context around the career that finally breathes. The three-dimensional paddock becomes the hub of the entire season and in just an aesthetical choice, and is also a Thursday press conference that held one of the most interesting new features of the season. Every answer given in the most microphones has a weight. It builds and erodes the driver's reputation, fuels their rivalries, or establishes the alliances, influences, and the goals of the term sets for the following weekends. We're not of that level deep of the management game, but let's be clear. Most characters being with the real sports ecosystem is tangible. Support all of the personal manager who follows the dreams and contract negotiations and the guides long-term career development, making the transfer market as actively element are no longer bureaucratic formality. But the real kicker, at least for MotoGP fans, is that they have no shoes on a real rider and rewrite their career. Bagnaia, Quattro, Martin, Marquez, you started Moto3 and redesigned the career one of the most MotoGP championships from the scratch. It's a mode with enormous replayability potential and adds a level of narrative customization that series has never explored with such courage. One of the official content from the MotoGP comes with a complete season. 38 teams, over 70 riders, the circle of the calendar, and Brazilian Grand Prix new entries to the new grades such as Tarpracras Glue and Diego Moreira. The new feature accompanies Grid Manager and the in dynamic rider sending system, which updates rider ratings in the real time based on the real time results. Four parameters: time attack, race pace, and head replayability. Smart way to keep the virtual grid aligned with those would happen on the track each weekend. There are over 100 collectible cards, some signed by Japanese artist Ranka Fujiyawa, are uncle and played all modes that represent all elements across progression that keeps the player engaged even outside of the standard races. These don't revolution anything, but a concrete incentive well integrated into the overall economy of the game. The race off mode turns with the expanded version featuring the British setting of Canterbury Park, alongside Borgo Casale and Mont Longar. The available events from the motor, flat track, and mini bike, all the first time with the dedicates when 1000cc road bikes are organized by individual manufacturers, make without a doubt. It's the mode that captures motorsport culture surrounding MotoGP well, and rider that does just train on the track, but the game is finally reflects the credibility. The multiplayer component receives the significant improvements. Online grids are increased to 22 people with a full crossplay excluding Nintendo Switch, which is kind of cool. So, in the end, I would like to say to this is the most mature and complete installment of the Milestone has ever delivered to the MotoGP fans. This year, the Milestone studio has demonstrated that it knows how to do something difficult, change without the overturning improve, with alienating those who are already there. The new rider-based handling physics is not just a press release slogan, it's the difference you can feel right away from controller when you try it in the first minute of the track. And this matters more than any other promise. The career path, then, the serious great unresolved issue, it's finally resolved with the paddock of the breaths, press conferences that matter, and the unprecedented opportunity to rewrite the story of the real champion starting from the Moto 3. It's not yet deep and true management game, but it's a clear, perceptible step forward. The overall content is the richest ever. The TV style, art direction, and the new sound recordings further raise the bar of immersion. There's still room for the improvement, especially in the artificial intelligence and the longevity of some secondary mechanics. But the overall picture is that of the game that knows what it wants to be and delivers with the convention. Anyone who loves MotoGP, whether real or virtual, has found their title of the year. Well, I've seen only positives, but I'll also tell a little bit about the negatives. The press conference is risking becoming repetitive in the long term. The opponent's AI still shows some uncertainty in the race, and the team relationship and career could be pushed further. But nevertheless, this is the most best game I ever played from the milestone. Yep. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. And yeah, bye.